Have you been happy lately? What's your joy level like today? Is there something potentially stealing your joy? In this video, we're going to talk about joy killers and give you some simple steps to overcome them. And it's coming up right now. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, my name's Andrew Scott. I'm the lead pastor of Assembly Church in Northeast Atlanta, and my wife and I created this channel to encourage and inspire you. So make sure you hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll be notified when we drop a new video every week. We as believers are called to live with joy all the time. In Philippians 4, it says, "Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice." And then if you look in Galatians at the fruits of the Spirit, Galatians 5, it said the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. We are called to live with joy. In fact, I believe that God's greatest desire is for us to live continually in a state of peace and joy. But this feels very unnatural to us, doesn't it? You mean I'm supposed to have joy all the time? I don't know about that. That feels a little strange, and it does. It does. Our sin nature specifically tells us this is unnatural. This doesn't make sense. You're not supposed to be this happy. The Bible also tells us that Jesus tells us that we have an enemy that is looking to steal, kill, and destroy us. He wants to steal, kill, and destroy our joy. And if the enemy can do that, then we are in a position where we will not experience the fullness of joy that God has for us. The Bible also tells us in James that death and life live in the power of the tongue. And so what we speak out has a huge impact on what we bring about in our lives. But it all starts with your mindset. Do you have a joy promoting mindset, or have you adopted a joy-killing mindset? And specifically, I want to look at 3 different types of mindsets that we adopt and that kill our joy. The first joy killer is offense. In Proverbs, it says that good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is to his joy to overlook offense. Now, if you really look at that verse in your actual Bible, you'll notice that it says it is to his joy to overlook offense, or to his glory to overlook offense. The his that we're referring to there is not a capital H, which means we're not talking about God. We're talking about his as in a person, or your joy or your glory to overlook an offense. Offense is man, especially in the world right now, it seems like there's something around every turn to be offended about. Just to look at this past summer, we're in the middle of 2020, and so we had COVID-19, and we've got the political races happening, and we've got racial inequality, and we've got people wearing masks and not masks. And so I think that when we think about offense, it's very easy to become offended in an easily offendable world. But we as believers are called to not be offended. For example, you're wearing a mask, I'm offended. You're not wearing a mask, I'm offended. Or you're voting Republican, I'm offended. You're not voting Republican, you're voting Democrat, I'm offended. Just an example. We need to learn how to overlook those offenses and see past those offenses. God has still created you to be passionate about things. Absolutely, I'm not downplaying that at all. And there are things that he burns righteously with anger when he sees, and we should feel the same way when we see things that are unrighteous, that are unholy. But it does not mean that we need to allow that anger and that offense to overtake our lives, to destroy our lives, or to put ourselves in positions where we walk around angry and upset all the time. We need to learn how to overlook offense, just as Proverbs said. Second, comparison. Comparison. I have 2 daughters. I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, soon to be 7. And man, comparison is a huge thing in our family. My girls are not only are they competitive, but they compare everything. Just to take, for example, taking my children to get ice cream. That in itself can be exhausting because of the comparison. I could take them to get ice cream, and instead of focusing on the joy that ice cream brings to their lives, that it's not something they get very often, but when they get it, it's really special. Instead of focusing and realizing the moment and experiencing that fun, my kids have the tendency to compare. She's got more ice cream than I do. Her cone looks more delicious than mine. That's more sprinkles than I have. I don't want that one. I want hers. If you're a parent, I think you can identify. And our kids just, man, they live in a life that is sort of ruled by comparison, don't they? But don't we as adults do the same thing? Yeah, we do. We even have a term for it: keeping up with the Joneses. You've heard this before. It's when you look at someone and you say their car is faster than mine, and their job is better than mine, brings in more money. Or you hop on that internet and you look at the Facebook and the Instagram and you start seeing that their vacation is more exotic than yours. Starting to hurt now. Yeah, they're having more fun. Their life is more together than mine is. When you allow yourself to adopt that mindset of comparison, what I really believe that you are doing is you are elevating their unique calling, their unique purpose, their giftings that God has given them above your own. You are saying, I would rather have that life than have my own life. And you're telling yourself that their life is better than your life. When in reality, we've all heard this before, but we forget it. When you're looking at those perfect, exotic Instagram pictures that someone else has, that's like take 72. And there's like 100 other pictures throughout the vacation that were terrible, where it did not look like people were having fun. But we see the perfected picture that passed all the little checks and balances and got posted on the internet. And then we think that's what the perfect life looks like. That's not true. We need to learn to live a life free of comparison. When you live a life free of comparison, you embrace your own personal calling, you embrace your own personal anointing, and you say, God, I want to enjoy and I want to be exactly who you've called me to be. Comparison kills your joy. And then the last one, the third one, is complaining. Complaining. I personally struggle with this sometimes. I will get in a position where I am so stressed, I'm moving so fast, that there are moments where every third word out of my mouth sometimes feels like a complaint. And I'll be very honest, there are days when my wife just looks at me and she says, all right, I need you to say nothing but positive things from now on, because you're in that rut. You're in that rut of complaining. And I kind of look at her and say, okay, you're right, I am. And it's hard. Complaining. When you start to complain, you are acknowledging to yourself, I'm not happy. And if you don't stop that cycle of complaints, then it starts to spin more and more and more, almost like a hamster wheel. I once heard Stephen Furtick say this. He said, when you have a thought, try and end it with this sentence. And that sentence is, and that's just the way I like it. That's just the way I like it. So if you have a thought, man, my kids are exhausting me today, and that's just the way I like it. Is that a complaint? Absolutely, it's a complaint. Wow, I really enjoyed that conversation with my wife today, and that's just the way I like it. That's not a complaint. It's just a simple little thing. When you complain, you remain. And so we are called to not complain. We're called rather to speak life into our situation. You could change your mind and your day and the course of your week, month, or season right now by changing your mindset. We need to learn how to identify the things in our lives that are bringing us down, these joy killers. We need to learn how to say, man, I am stuck complaining right now. Or, man, I've been comparing a lot. Or, you know what, I think I'm getting offended, and it's starting to impact me, beyond just the offense, but it's starting to impact my life. When we're able to do that, it allows us to change our perspective. to choose to change our mindset. The Bible tells us that we have the ability to flip that mindset, but it all has to begin in here. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So we need to have a change of heart perspective. When we're walking down the street, if we see something that's offensive, we can choose to become offended, or we can choose to check our heart and say, you know what? That's the world, but I have been called to live with joy because I have Jesus. But this can be very hard. This can be very, very hard. And there are moments and times when we need more than just a simple gut check or simple mind check, but we may need to set aside some time to deal with the joy killers in our lives. You might need to spend a little bit more time reading your word. You might need to spend a little more time praying or worshiping. Just get away from the thing that's dragging you down and just say, you know what, I'm going to take a mini praise break right now and I'm just going to worship. You may be in a season where it has become so pervasive in your life. The best possible thing for you to do would be to just schedule a whole day off to work on your relationship with God and work on your mindset. Or maybe even take a retreat. I love to camp. And man, the value that I could get from just going to the woods and just spending time alone with God is priceless. So if you're one of those people where this is something you're struggling with and you need to change your mindset and you need to identify those joy killers so that you can move forward, we actually have a great resource we created. It's called our daily mindset renewal guide. And this is a perfect thing for you to watch and read every morning to just, is my mindset where I want it to be? Am I focusing on things that elevate my joy? And this tool is perfect. I think it will bless you absolutely. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you drop a comment below. I want to know what was the most impactful part of this video for you. Make sure you share it with your friends. Like I said, we're living in a season that easily being offended and allowing our joy to be stamped out, it just feels like 2020. But we don't have to be that way, and you have the ability right now to encourage one of your friends. So share this video with your friends. As always, for more influential encouragement and inspiration, we'll see you next time.